Hello everyone and welcome to Foundation Training. This is the pre-video to your next 6 video experiences, and this video is all about fear and expectation. And so anytime that you start a new process, that you declare who you are, often, I can't say every time, often all that you are not will show up. Typically, this is triggered by entering some sort of unknown experience, right? I'm doing something new. I'm saying yes to something that I haven't said yes to before. And so this version of me that created this reality here is now changing to create this reality here. And anything that I'm holding on to that would tie me to this reality, this initial reality I was in before I made a new choice, is going to come up in order for you to become the person, become the frequency or the version of yourself that is capable of experiencing this new choice in its fullness, in its entirety, in its totality. And so it is nearly inevitable. I can't say some of you may not experience any fear in this process, because that may be true. Some of you might not experience any fear. That's okay too. That's great. Congratulations. It is very likely that through this process of fear will come up, old patterns will come up, the idea of certain expectations and insistences on the way things need to unfold and go, and scheduling and organizing and what the content needs to be, and all of these ideas will come up. Now, an integrated perspective of fear says we want to welcome those ideas. To push that away and say, let's not focus on those, let's avoid those, or positive vibes only, positive vibe tribe only, is actually a negative idea. Being a positive vibe tribe, keyword only perspective, having that perspective is actually a negative action because it leaves out the fear. And we don't want to do that in self. We want to invite the fear, to integrate in, bring in the fear, include the fear, accept and acknowledge the fear, because only from acceptance and true acknowledgement, which is really the same thing, can fear transform. And so through this process, you may not want to show up to a call. You might say, you know what, I have other things that are just more important, and I need to get this done and that done, and I can't make space to go into my fears. I'm too busy. Right? A lot of times the idea of being too busy is actually when you need to slow down. Busyness is often being so not in the moment, so in the future, managing all these future events. I have this to do and that and this and that, and I feel so overwhelmed, so I got to make sure I go do it, because once I do it, I'll feel better. And so you're putting your salvation, another word for salvation is your sanity, in the hands of something in the future. That is the beginning, or that is the invitation back into the matrix, back into the idea that the future, the past, or anything outside of the now determines your state of being, and that you need anything outside of yourself to be a certain way, to look a certain way, to unfold a certain way in order to choose happiness right now. Remember this, you can choose happiness right now. Why? Because you can. You have that available to you. No matter your circumstance, no matter your situation, no matter your relationship, you can choose to be happy right now. And so in those moments where you're not feeling that, where you're not able to allow yourself to come back to your center because a fear has come up, here's the idea or the question or the offering. It's not about avoiding the fear, or not about not allowing fear to show up, or only being in a positive state. It's about what you do when the fear does come up. What you do. Because there might be moments where you go, you know what, I'm just feeling like I want to be introspective, and I'm feeling like I can't share this with anyone, and I might get judged, or I might be alone, or they might not understand, and I'm gonna pull away from the group. The question is have you done that your whole life? Is that what you always do every time? Think about it for a second. Every time you experience challenge, fear, anxiety, what do? Do you run from it? Do you gloss it over? Do you pretend it's not there? Do you deny it? So this is about bringing awareness to how we typically respond to fear. Because a master isn't someone that is absent to the experience of fear. They are someone that is aware of fear, but chooses higher, chooses differently, doesn't allow themselves to resonate with, to become the fear, but rather validates the fear as an equal valid choice, but no longer sees a point or a purpose to choosing it. So it's simply, I see that that's a choice, and this is what I choose because this is who I am. This is who I choose to be. And so choice, when you realize that you have choice, just like in the yin and yang, right? On the primarily white side, there's a black hole, and on the primarily black side, there's a white hole. Each idea of positive and negative contain each other, contain the choice to go back and forth between the two states. And so that is what you always want to remind yourself that you have, is you have choice. Choice to say, I have the ability to choose how I would like to respond to this fear, and what am I making this fear mean about me? So this is about creating a positive relationship with fear and understanding, okay, the fear is going to come up. That's okay. What am I going to do about it? Am I going to lean into this community of people that are here to support me, that want to hear me and see me and validate me and give me an unconditionally loving space to move through this fear so I don't continue recycled unconscious behavior patterns of the past and actually make new choices? Or am I going to retreat? Am I going to believe the fear? And so this is one way you can create a positive relationship with fear. First of all, is defining what is fear. Fear is simply resistance of the natural self, resisting who you really are. What does that imply? Who you really are is your natural state is to be a passionate, loving, kind, peaceful, powerful being. That fear is only natural in a survival consciousness. And when I say natural, I mean it is built into our instinctual consciousness, which is part of our body consciousness. And in that body consciousness, that is designed to give us a survival evolutionary advantage in a world that requires us to live in survival mode. We don't live in that world anymore. We are transforming that idea in our culture and in our global society. And so we don't need the survival mechanism to work, for the most part, in most of the world, in the same ways that it used to ensure our survival. We simply don't. Yet, most of us still have that on autopilot. We go, well, if my neighbor looks at me funny and if that person flips me off or I get cut off on the road, I'm having the same survival response that I would to a saber-toothed tiger outside of the door. That's actually what's biochemically going on in your body. And so because we're not in a survival consciousness anymore, look around. Majority of the people on the planet are safe from imminent death. Then there's actually a new set of rules to play by. And one of those is redefining our relationship to fear. And so the first aspect of redefining this relationship to fear is, first of all, understanding that to be in fear is actually not the natural state of a thriving human. That doesn't mean it's wrong or bad. That doesn't mean it's not normal. It just means you're actually coming up against something that is not representative of your true core essential self. And the only way to learn about your true core essential self is through, I can't say the only way, one way is through fear. If I want to learn about how abundant I am, well, then I may need to, in this life, in this theme I chose to explore in this life, you can call that destiny, you can call that my passion. Whatever you're drawn to most is different for everyone. That is what you're called to explore, whatever those archetypes are, those themes of exploration. You may create scarcity and experience scarcity, so you learn about abundance. Because you as a spirit, you're infinitely abundant. You're everything. You're all that is. There is no lack within spirit, within God. We're going to talk about more of this in the rest of Foundation. So you might create the opposites. You might create contrast. How do I want to learn about personal power? Victimhood. How do I want to learn about freedom? bondage, right? Giving my power away is how I learn about power. So we may be creating these situations to teach us about their opposite. What I'm telling you is you don't have to unnecessarily create suffering to simply choose empowerment, to simply choose love, to simply choose being yourself. And that when fear comes up, it is a messenger that is telling you exactly what belief you are now ready to let go of to become more of who you are. So think of it this way. You're in a treasure hunt, or you're in a some sort of adventure game. Okay, think about your higher mind literally playing a video game, and you're in the video game, and you're the character, and the higher mind goes, "Wow, I could see the trajectory of where this person is going. My character down here, I call Brandon, and I'm going to put a little present coming up here soon, a little present, and." That present is going to come in a few days when he's ready to open the present. So this is illustrating one point about fear. Fear will always present itself when you are ready and powerful enough to let it go. That's principle one. It's always perfect timing. It's never inconvenient. That's only your belief. So when fear comes up, the idea, oh, this shouldn't be here. This is wrong. Oh, I've experienced this so many times. I shouldn't be experiencing this. Oh, I should be way beyond this. Oh, I need to be doing this, but now this fear, this trigger, this thing is coming up. Oh, and of course you could say, you know what? I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to look at that later. And you can always look at it later. But what I'm telling you is anytime that fear is present in the now, it's also the perfect time for you to look at it and let it go. And you're ready and you're powerful enough. And it's always in perfect timing. Why? Because your higher mind knows you, because it is you, your higher self, your spirit self goes, this experience is in perfect timing. And so you might be like the character going along on this adventure and boom, there's a present. And as you approach the present, the energy from the present is really loud. It gets really loud. So this is the principle number 2. Fear gets the loudest when you're closest to letting it go. Okay, and I want you to imagine again this present as fear. But like I said, every fear contains the answer that you're seeking. It contains the gift to allow you to become more of yourself by letting go of who you're not, by letting go of what is out of alignment with your true essence and nature and your passion. And so this fear, this little gift, is present. When you get close to it, it gets really loud. And it starts getting, oh man, don't do it. Don't look at me. Don't open me. Don't acknowledge me. Because like anything in nature, fear just wants to survive. And so for its survival's sake, it creates tactics and techniques so you don't bring your awareness to it, right? This is what communities of enlightened leadership, love and leadership means. Enlightened, inner light, inner knowing. Light is a symbol of awareness. So by you bringing your awareness to something that is within the dark, meaning your unconscious mind, and you're able to accept and acknowledge that as something positive, as something exciting. Oh my God, I got a present today. I found a present. You can even start calling them presents. Oh, I found a present today. Yeah, I had a present earlier today. Yeah, I had a major present. And know that if it gets loud, that is proof that you're this close to letting it go. So don't stop if it gets loud. Keep going. That means you're this close, literally this close to completely dropping it. And so you reach for the present even though it's loud. Some people call that courage. I call that knowing or an understanding of how fear operates. When you understand, you don't necessarily need courage because you know a fundamental truth. And this is number 3. Third principle of fear is you'll never find something that's actually true about you. You'll never find something that is negative that is actually true about you. So your mind will come up, oh, don't look at that fear. Don't lean into that. Don't share in the group. Don't share this. Don't talk to this person. Don't do that. But when you actually look at what the fear is saying, what will happen and why it's scary and why it's wrong, why you're bad, why you're guilty, all these things, you'll see that it doesn't make sense. And not only doesn't it make sense, but it's incapable of making sense. Why? Because that's the nature of negativity. That's the nature of fear. It contains inherently by its nature, this isn't an opinion, this is an observation of negative energy. That's how it works. Negative energy in terms of the belief system, it can't make logical sense. Why? Because negativity is an incoherent energy. Right? It doesn't harmonize. It's incoherent. So what is an expression of incoherency? A lack of logic, a lack of coherent logic. It could trick you into making it seem very believable, but when you stop resisting, you say, okay, this is a present, this is here for a positive reason, and you make the statement, fear is my friend. Fear is my friend. Fear is just the messenger. This must be the perfect timing for me to open up this gift, to take back more of my power, to become more of myself. Then you realize, well, whatever I find in there, if it's not true about me, then that's only going to reveal what actually is true about me. And so if I open this box, and the box contains, or the present is wrapped in, let's say it's wrapped in paper that says all over it, you're not enough, you're not enough. They're going to reject you. They're going to reject you. That's what you might see on the outside. But when you actually open it up, another way to say open it up is to actually feel the fear, to not be afraid to feel, to open the heart, right? Because a lot of us will want to mentalize the whole process. But and I'll talk about this in later segments of Foundation, one of the most important parts of moving through fear is acknowledging the fear. Acknowledgement implies that you fully feel the fear. And you won't be afraid of feeling the fear if you realize that what you find by acknowledging it, by owning it, by taking full responsibility, I'm choosing this from a higher level. I have put this fear here in perfect timing. I'm creating this to take my power back from it, to learn more about myself, to become a greater version of myself, to reinforce who I really am. This is going to give me a message. It's going to allow me to let go of what is not me so I can expand into a greater me. Then you're inviting of the fear. You go, oh, fear's here? Oh, how exciting. Sometimes I even talk to the fear. I'll be like, oh, fear's here. Hey, how you doing, fear? Okay, yeah, what are you telling me I'm afraid of? Okay, and then I'll speak from the fear's perspective. Oh, you shouldn't do this and that. Okay, and I'll have a conversation. I don't do it really anymore, but I used to actually have an actual verbal dialogue with fear as a friend. Okay, what is your message for me? Right? Creating this positive, inviting relationship. Then you open the box by opening your heart, by feeling, and within it is the gift, right? The message. You are enough. You are abundant. You have everything you need. You are beautiful. You are loved. Here's your power back because who's creating the box? Think of it like this. From your heart center, you had a tube connecting to that box, energizing it, letting all that energy radiate out of it. And you looked at it and go, okay, I no longer need to plug into that. Boom. And where does that energy go? Right back into you. And so when you realize every fear is actually a present that is meant for you to open in perfect timing, and that nothing in there can actually be true about you, and you're safe to feel, you're safe to acknowledge it, accept it, take responsibility for it, and that when you look at this fear as it truly is, that you will drop the fear. You will see that it doesn't make sense. And like I said, we're going to go into more detail about this in Foundation. Then you'll start creating an excitement for fear. Why can't we as a society be excited to experience fear? Be excited when anxiety comes up and go, oh man, there must be a gift for me here. There must be more of me to come through. There must be more of my own power to take back. Wow, I'm so ready to take back more of my power. This is great. That's what it is. It means to create a positive relationship with fear. This is the mark of mastery. Because when you're not resisting resistance, fearing fear, then the fear is going to come in, but you're never going to hold on to it. It'll pass right through you. and you'll pick up the golden thread and you'll use the negative fear in a positive way. And so throughout this program, I invite you, anytime fear comes up, without a lot of thought, if it feels strong, overwhelming, I invite you to make a post, to share. Hey, I found a present, a really big present, and it's kind of tough right now. Just wanted to voice that. It can be as simple as that, right? And to use that experience in a positive way, to learn from it, to grow from it, and even share what you learned from that experience with other people. That is one way of rapidly giving yourself a positive experience from something that is energetically negative. And so, as a reminder, you are on a journey to becoming more of yourself, which involves acknowledging, accepting, and bringing light to the things that are not in alignment, that are not compatible with your true self. Every one of these things comes to you in perfect timing, and it is exactly what you are ready to let go of. The louder it gets, the closer you are to letting go. That you can learn how to be excited and inviting and have a positive relationship with negativity and invite that in, because you know nothing you find can be real, can be absolutely true about you. And that every opportunity that you have to acknowledge fear is an opportunity you have to take back more power and to know yourself deeper and to be and express more of your total self by letting go what was in the way of that expression coming through. And so as you go through the process, as you go through these next modules, keep this in mind, because some of these processes will bring up fear, which means you're going to have a lot of presence. And by the end of this, you're going to have so many presents. It's going to be like an eternal Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever it is. So thank you again for watching this video. This is the pre-video for the rest of Foundation. You have 6 modules remaining. And if you need support as you're going through this training, reach out to your cell leader. You can reach out to me. We appreciate you being here. And we're excited to see, where you go in this experience, what your unique form of leadership may become with how you can contribute to cell or potentially become a cell leader. Remember that we do offer programs and invitations to help you extract your leadership, whether that's to put it back into the community or to build your own community or pursue a different passion is up to you. So enjoy, have fun, enjoy the community, and we will see you on the inside.